how we doing, folks? It's Sunday night again. It's Super Bowl Sunday, but by the time you see us, it's probably going to be after Easter. How we doing? Yeah, fuck the Patriots. It's audio. It's a double element outing for Colin Baker and Lisa Greenwood with Vortex Ice and Cortex Fire. Are these two stories that blow hot and cold? Well, you're about to find out, especially when Flip's concerned. But before we get to that, let's get to this. It's who showed up this evening. All over Mass, it's Sue and Alex. How are we doing, guys?
Wonderful. And Alex has just stepped out, so he
all right.
okay.
Well, scratch that. -1 Alex. Okay. Oh, there's some Tottenham looking perplexed. It's Phil apart. How are we doing, Phil?
I'm not looking perplexed. I'm just me. But hello. Good evening, Pillow. I'm not Pillow. Yeah. Hello.
Well, 10 of you watch this said, oh, thank you. I was my see Mr. Aberdeen. How goes it well?
Hey now, fuck the Patriots.
There's going to be some contention in here tonight. And down in Texas, where they doesn't give a flying fuck about any sports cup, bowl or dish, it's Texas Tim Wells. How are you, Timbo?
Hello.
Good to see you, mate. So, another fine Sunday down your way. So, guys, following on from the theme of last week's recording, we have two-part stories again with no connection, albeit it's just, as I say, two different elements of fire and ice. First outing, Vortex Ice. We have an excursion in an underground mine shaft in Mexico. And there's a lot of time looping. There's double the flip for your pleasure. Yeah. Shut up, phone. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fuck for the edit button, I'll tell you. Now, hang on. I'm turning this off. Fuck it.
Yeah, put it on mute. Be a good boy.
Shut it, you. Nah, fuck it. It's bloody froze. Double the flip for your pleasure. We have somewhat of a very frostic bootstrap paradox going down, where one flip isn't what she seems. And let's just say the excursion group's fates are already sealed. Before we get to Cortex Fire, let's see what we thought of Vortex Ice. Opening thoughts. Opening thoughts, mate. Vortex Ice, Colin Baker and Lisa Greenwood.
I liked this story because the way it was that you knew there was a menace there, but I was a little bit perplexed because when the second flip showed up, and of course later on the doctor like that, I didn't really realize to the end of the story that a timey-wimey thing occurred in this thing. And that's how come when you listen to this audio, you notice that Flip followed what happened to a previous, say, past life itself.
Yeah.
For everything can take its toll. But that's a little bit upsetting about that because you hear the doctor always saying in this thing that not to change any event that happened in time, but when we watch a bunch of us seeing the TV, he does it on a fucking daily basis, changing history. I don't know. So that a little bit. I understand that some people had to die in a certain way, but there was certain in this story there was certain characters in a way that easily avoided getting killed. So that's a little bit upsetting there. But it's a good story like that. But because the way this story makes it out is the way we watch it in the past on TV. The doctor don't try to change nothing. But then when you watch what's going on now on TV, I mean everything's getting changed in a moment's notice like that. So that's a little bit upsetting like that. But it's still a good story, so to speak. We get into the other parts later on.
All right. Timbo, Vortex Ice, what do you reckon, mate?
I thought this was an excellent story. I thought it was very entertaining. It's very clever. I mean, if you listen to it a second time, it gives you a complete different outlook as to what happens when the two flips meet.
Yeah.
Because the first time you listen to it, you think you know which one is telling who what, but it's actually the other way around. You don't really get that till the second time you listen to it. It's very clever, and it's a good story. It's like this would work as a television episode easily. A cheap one also. It wouldn't have to been that expensive. I mean, I could easily see any doctor and companion doing this, but it works really well for this pair. I think to Will's point, I mean, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, how many times have they arrived and everybody was dead already anyway? So just because we get to know these characters, the idea that he should go back and save them, the episode starts, these people are already dead, aren't they?
That's a fair point.
The second time. So, I mean, it's not like he could go back and save them. Yeah, maybe they would have done that on TV. I don't know. But it's like saying that anytime he lands, he should go save everybody that's lived and died up to that point. That's not going to ever happen. So, but yeah, this was very good. I thought this was a very good story.
All right, Phil. Get your noodle run it. Vortex Ice.
Vortex Ice. Listening to it, I appreciate the timey-wimey of it. And yes, you know what? As much as Flip Jackson's character is a bit of a pain in the ass, I did like her in the story and the next preceding one. So this is one of the better stories for her, for me. And it had shades of two stories in my mind. It had shades of the Space Museum, where the first Doctor and his companion find themselves already encased in a future event, locked in the ice cube thing, wherever it was. And so that reminded me of that. There's something else as well. Oh yes, Frozen Time. You think about Frozen Time.
The McCoy one, okay.
Yes, it reminded me of that as well. It had the shades of that as well. So it's kind of like a good little setup, and I did understand it to a certain level until the flip thing, the two flip things happened. It kind of messed with my head a bit. I thought, okay, what's going on here? But it wasn't too difficult a thing to work out. But otherwise, it's a good story. And like you said, the idea that the crew are already expired at the beginning, but we get to meet them throughout the flipping of the timeline. That's a good thing. That was a good thing to it. And then you got that creature, that strange creature that extrudes that kind of liquid that freezes you in time. That's a good little thing as well.
You mean the Vortex Ice, Phil?
Yes, the Vortex Ice. Yes, my apologies.
All right, there we go. Sue, how was this for you?
Well, Philippa Jackson, I like her. I always have. I know I may be alone in this, but I really like her, and I like the cyborg creature, and I had to listen to it twice through to also to get the loops of the time when she where the one that couldn't say anything initially comes into it. It's really well written,
Okay.
and I enjoyed it a lot. So
Excellent.
awesome.
And I can with the consensus of the group, especially Phil's point. This is one of Lisa Greenwood's better outings flip for me. It's two flips and one hooray for me. So yeah, there we go. The concept wasn't too, because people would debunk some of the Stephen Moffat era complex. It was sublimely simple, even though there was a lot going on. You had one set of flips and 60 basically being the cause of the effect of what was going on about the whole group, because it had already happened before they got there. So that was different. Colin Baker, his usual self. There's Artron energy here. Let's find it. Oh my God, not that one. It's me. Yeah, pompous as ever. Even more of him. And yeah, we doubled the bang for our buck with Colin Baker there. So this is not bad for 50 odd minutes, and it's a nice little tale. Even has Gita for EastEnders in it. Go figure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, go find her news, Sanjay.
I did also like the fact that the way he utilised the fact of getting back to his own TARDIS is by using the future one's TARDIS, going back to, is it the future one's TARDIS or the past one's TARDIS?
The future back to where it should have been before. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that kind of TARDIS played again, sort of to get back to their one, to finish the story and bug off, basically.
All right. Pressing on. Any events or circumstances that stood out for you in this tale? Tim.
Oh, go on.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, for once, the companion gets to say, "I'll explain later." I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. Again, it's a very good story. It's very timey-wimey. I think they were a little bit too complete at the end, though. You could have cut out some of that stuff where they fix everything, but I don't know, because I think that they did that just to make sure that no fanboys get their underoos in an uproar.
Well, yeah.
Try to pick it apart later, but just like
I'll give it a couple of years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By that time you get what happened, and you're kind of like, okay, okay, I get you. But it did give the Doctor a chance to show off again.
All right.
So,
yeah. Cool. Well, looking for you.
Well, I agree. Like Texas, like Flip stood out in the story, and especially when she did her best not to, everything has to take place the way it happened before. So you got to give her props for that. And another one, there was the woman that got killed off because she wanted to just finish this thing and go back to see her daughter like that.
Yeah.
which, you was talking with Flip about. So that character stood out pretty good. And I thought maybe she was gonna make it at the end, but that ain't happen. So you gotta give her props for that. And of course, Colin Baker being a doctor, he does the role pretty good, especially how perplexed he was and when there was two Flips like that. Of course, he had to wait to find out what's going on like that because he had to use the TARDIS to get out of the predicament that happened later on. So you gotta give him props for that.
Yeah, it has to be said. The group was like a foreign legion, man. You had the German, you had the French guy. It was like, well, okay, there we go. So, a real international flavour.
They were completely new actors, they say, in the extras as well.
Yeah, so I was about to say that, how they discussed about how they had a bit of a nightmare trying to get all those different actors or find those different actors because of the different nationalities.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a logistic nightmare, but they did it in the end.
Okay. So, for you.
Well, I enjoyed the where the TARDIS is frozen, or the TARDIS is frozen, and then I enjoyed also the cyborgs secreting it and just touching the Doctor, and then the Doctor's response to that, saying, "This is what you have to do," and once you've done that, then it will come back and the loop will be closed again. So that was a really cool moment to me.
Yeah, that's what you call a frosty cliffhanger. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to see them in this, I must admit, or hear them as the case may be. But enough for the Arnold Schwarzenegger punch. Colin Baker. God, how many companions he's had now? He's really racking them up now. I think he's...
he really is. He's having a whole boatload these days. I
think only McGann's up there with him now at this point. But, yeah. So...
remember, Tom Baker got a new one, so he might end up getting some more later on, too.
Well, we'll see what happens there, but no.
In regards to flipping this story, right, is what made her a bit more bearable because the story fitted her as a glove, because it was more or less about her than the Doctor.
I think any companion could have done that part. Any one of them. Like I said,
but normally, because normally when we have to endure her, she's
to be fair, this is probably one of the better ones for her. I mean, I always enjoyed the Curse of Davros where she was bearable in that for me.
Okay, it's been a while since I listened to that one, but I think because of the subject matter and how they made fit her in it, I think that's what made it work for her.
No, but all in all, good 50 minutes, guys. Since that's a standalone story, so.
You know what? It's a good question right here, because you know how the Doctor's telling Flip, of course, that time cannot be written like that, and of course, in one of his other companions is Constance, and of course, she wants to know what happened to her husband like that. I wonder if what happened to say by chance that husband is no longer living, why would she want the Doctor to do what he's not supposed to do like that?
What, go back in time and save the husband?
Yeah.
Oh, well, again, he's just AWOL at present, doesn't he? Definitive on that. But,
well, remember, they're in the wall, man. People get bumped up like crazy there.
Yeah, there you go.
Unless their husband got fed up with her, look for another chick. That's another story.
There you go. We'll see what happens, yeah. Strange things happen in wartime. KBO. But, no, good 50 minutes. And with that, we move over to the more hotter element with Cortex Fire.
Ooh.
We're on the futuristic planet of Festin, and they're off to see a comet display or something, or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, Flip
display.
A light display. Flip wants to see fireworks, and we end up in a mere.
I remember now. It's all coming back.
And we end up in a mere psychological outing here, whereby there's a head scientist trying to do some research as to why folks keep busting into flames, and we have the Cortex manipulating the population of the planet.
Yep.
Based on what was the emotion that triggered it?
The urge. I have the urge to tell you.
Yeah, the urge. There you go. No, it's not. Yeah. So there we go. Not those kind of urges, you dirty birdies, but yeah, a mere eureka type moment. I have solved the puzzle type urge. So interesting concept. You had the guy who couldn't fly his car right, but that's a different thing altogether. Yeah. What are my thoughts on this one, guys? Cortex Fire. Philip, what do you reckon?
The Urge, and I mean, I kind of barely remember this one because it kind of reminded me of some. Was there lots of explosions going on, like bombings and all that going on with it?
No, were you watching it?
Which one was that one then? I was listening to. Never mind. But it gave me the idea that there was a load of freedom fighters doing all sorts of bombing places and all that palaver. But that's wrong. So this one's about the lights in the sky. Or I can't say that word. No, like the northern lights.
Borealis, no.
Yeah.
They're in another planet. They wanted to see the fireworks, but the people on the planet, they realize that they're aliens and they think that they're causing the other people on the planet to burst into spontaneous combustion like that.
Yeah,
right.
And the doctor find out.
Remember the first one who done it? You had the lesbian couple.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll freely admit that this one must have flew by across my head because I
Don't worry
really...
about it. There's only certain portions I can remember myself. But I prefer the first story, if I'm honest. Tim, anything for you?
No, it's an interesting idea, like you said, and the idea that somehow an emotion can bring this out in them. But unfortunately, it's another story where a computer has taken over or something, and has managed to manage the race of people's development to a point where they just have this defect now where, if they get too emotional about something, they can all of a sudden try to, transmorph into something else or something. I don't know. It's very bizarre when the people catching on fire. So and the one guy, he's a doctor. He's even trying to hold it back by taking
He created a serum, didn't he, to control it a bit?
It's like a sedative. It moves you out.
Sedative, but then he ended up killing himself anyway because he realized that wasn't going to help his people or something. I don't know. It was very interesting, but it was pretty bizarre, like you said.
Interesting topic. Probably maybe not executed as well as it could have been.
I don't think it was bad.
Yeah. Well, anything.
Well, the thing is that the computer was controlled by you can say living species that came from another dimension like that. Now,
that's it. Now I remember.
Now, did these beings came from that other dimension because of the time war? And another story would deal with that. But that they idea was, yeah, I know. So their idea was to have everybody die, and the explosion will open a rift that they could go back
to their own dimension. That's it.
Back to their own dimension. That's the idea. But and of course, the doctor was able to you say subdue them like that, but they are still inside each person, inside them. Yeah. So that's coming. You can hear in the end of the story.
That's right.
The doctor like I might have to come back to check what's going on with them because they might try to do that nonsense again like that.
This is one of these stories where they're lying dormant by the end. He's not really made much of a difference, unfortunately.
Yeah, he didn't want to kill him anyway. He don't believe in killing, so that's his solution. But it's not a bad story, but I really had to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
Even though it's only a 2-part story, you really got to listen to it because of the certain scenario that's going up with you think there's a computer that's causing the whole thing, and then you realize it's a being inside a computer system that's causing all that. And of course, like in the beginning, that the two lady lovers, one of them got too hot for the other one and burned up.
Yeah. That's what you call one flaming hot taco.
I actually thought it was a virus that was doing that stuff like that. Like, whoa! I didn't realize that inside them. And of course, like Texas said, that the doctor's only solution for himself was have him get shot enough with the tranquilizer that it killed him, not knock them out. He did that. He did that for his because he didn't want to deal with the pain himself.
Excellent. Sue, Cortex Fire.
Yeah. Well, this one wasn't so strong with Flip and stuff, but the being the couple were incredibly cool. The doctor was
She was swimming hot.
Well, I mean, like, never mind. Anyway, yeah. So the doctor was really clever, and so was Sixie, our sixth doctor. He was really clever too. He kind of figured out that they weren't from this dimension, and that was really brilliant. So yeah, fun.
You get hard out Einstein. Yeah, as I say, for me, this one wasn't as strong as the first one. As Tim alluded to, it has some interesting elements in there, but it's a wee bit of needle scratching and a few lessons are required. But as I say, it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it to someone else's taste.
Yeah.
It might be for you. Give it a listen and find out. And with that, guys, with these two stories in mind, open mic portion of the cast. Anything else you want to bring up before we get this rated in the can?
Well, it's interesting that the doctor was locked up for a big part of the story, the second of this story.
Second one?
Yeah, and that Flip
Yeah.
had to rescue him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, the music was very much of its time. It sounded like something you would have heard during his TV tenure, except it got a bit disco sometimes. It didn't really kind of, I don't know, a couple of times it just started sounding like dance music. You look, why are they
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they broke him out of jail, like, oh my God, the music.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, when they busted in with the tank thing. Oh, yeah, God, yeah.
I mean,
But Vortex Ice was more symphonic. It was really pretty music for that one.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So it was different contrast when it comes to the soundtrack for both of these stories. Yeah.
like the alien protagonist in Cortex Fire
Yes.
well, very much remind me of the ones from Earthly Child with Jake McGowan, where there's like agree, disagree, that kind of alien protagonist.
Oh, okay, right.
They also remind me of that. So in a way, I'm beginning to see Big Finish reusing certain elements of their past to create
How much
something.
of
But
many
that's not
stories you
bad.
can tell, Phil?
Yeah, but that's not a bad
Doctor
thing.
Who in general, it does that all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
like you pointed out, they this reminds you slightly at the beginning, I mean, the first story of the Space Museum, because that's the last time we saw the Doctor and his companion see themselves frozen in time, either later or before, probably later since they haven't done it yet. And it immediately reminds you of the Space Museum, but on the other hand, it's nothing like that story. So it's
Yeah, I get you. I agree with that. Yeah.
Excellent. Anyone else, guys?
The one thing is the computer, the Cortex,
Yeah.
played by E. Webster, is unusual that for somebody who's been around for a very long time, she wasn't aware that of him being a Time Lord like that, and what was unusual because the doctor was saying that those species, I think that he heard about them at that from the books that he read from school like that. So that's so weird that one know of the existence of the other, but not the other way around.
Okay.
well, I would think that Time Lords are forever removing themselves from common knowledge anyway, because they can. So
Yeah. And, Khan got mentioned again, so what the hell?
who?
Khan.
Oh yeah. You get name check.
Name check,
This-
yeah. Tick the box.
This double story setup that they have sometimes, that they occasionally put out, like Vortex Ice and Cortex Fire, do they normally dovetail into each other as the same story but on a different slant? Or is
This
that
is only the second set I've heard, but I think last time they
Because
attempted to.
with the Dalek one? I could have sworn that dovetailed into an
It
extra
had a
part of the
loose
story.
thread, but it was a different story.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is definitely two different stories that
Yeah.
have little or nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
The,
All right.
the last week's one, 2 weeks ago, had a slight overlap because you the 5-year gap thing and all that. But no, Tim's right. These are two different stories this time.
Mhm. Well, you can say that one for 2 weeks were two different stories because even though you hear the doctor and companion, they wasn't really them. So that's the thing that stood
Yeah,
out.
well,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's brought together with the whole video.
Last time, I mean, in that Davison set, each story depends on each other, though, to be fair, because the first one doesn't really add up to much on its own. The second one is entirely dependent on you listening to that other one first. Otherwise, you wouldn't
Yeah.
we'll just it's not even them, so it doesn't even make sense. But
There you go.
Yeah.
Then what is these two? No, you're
so
right.
this is a nice pair of stories that it's a nice pair that doesn't feature Nicola Bryant, so that's always.
Yes, the puppies have had a rest. Anything else, guys? No? Well, okay. Get the chicken fingers out, break out the dip. It's Super Bowl time. It's that time again.
Well, for any fool to realize that drinking alcohol will cure baldness, just gotta look at our host and find out it doesn't work.
Ooh.
What can I say? He's right.
All I can say is that this was a good outing for Flipper Jackson.
Yeah,
And,
fair play to Lisa Greenwood here.
Yeah, she did well in this one. So,
Okay.
We'll give you a review then.
uh,
Four-
We'll give you what numbers.
Hang on.
Oh, hang on. Let's
Vortex
just get
Ice and Cortex Fire. Big Finish main range story 225. Colin Baker Lisa Greenwood. Okay, Phil, what do you give Vortex Ice? And you can rate them together or
yeah, are we rating them as a whole one?
Oh, so each one if you want.
Each one would be okay. So Vortex Ice was more to my flavor.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And Vortex Fire.
Cortex.
Cortex Fire. See, look at me. I'll give that. I'm going to give that a 6.5 because it was a bit blander than the previous.
Okay, no problem, mate. Well, what's the number from NYC?
All right, the first one, the ice, I'm going to give that one a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And the one with the fire, I'm going to give that one a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Sue, what say you?
Well, for Vortex Ice, I will give that one a 9.5 out of 10. And for Cortex Fire, I will give that an 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh, high praise indeed. Okay. And Timbo, what's the number for Technical?
I'll give the two of them a 9.5. I thought overall it was like two really good stories. I like the first one better too, but I didn't have any problem with the second one. I think sometimes two-parters are great. So
yeah, they can be as a testament to the mother tenure. So
Yeah.
I agree with Tim. I preferred the ice to the fire, but what can you say? Vortex Ice, I'll give it a 9 out of 10, and Cortex Fire for me gets a 7.5. Decent outing, you know, I just preferred the ice one. Yeah, why not? So guys, done dusted in the can for the evening. Just to clarify what we're doing in 2 weeks' time, we're back on the gravy train with Sylvester McCoy and Tracy Childs, along with young Aerosmith, for the final part of the said trilogy. And Phil,
I don't know. I didn't realize I didn't know what you were doing.
The name of it is Dalek Among Us.
Oh, you
yes,
did
we
that
have
one.
Briggsy
Okay.
shouting down a microphone again, so hopefully it's a decent story. We'll find out when we tackle it in 2 weeks' time. We hope you can join us for that. As always, guys, check out our buddies in the wonderful wackety world of the YouTube. We get the guys and dolls that each assemble with the TV, audio head, and movie reviews. You've got Dr. Freedom and his news broadcasts, his Omega Files, and the Adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. You've got Johnny Boyd, Sammy Carter, Mike Shannon, whenever they're online. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. It's time to go break open the bottles of whiskey to throw at my TV screen in the event that Tom Brady picks up another Super Bowl ring. Getting the hell on out of here. Be excellent to yourself, folks, and each other, and fuckity bye. Go Rams.
Fuck you, New England.